What is up, my fellow Chibits? Today, I'm here to bring all of you the weekly anime review of Fate Kaleid. Okay, so, wow, the world building to the revelations to what Illya said, what she wants to do to Kuro, just holy crap, this episode of Fate Kaleid, by far I think one of the most fascinating episodes to date of this season of Fate Kaleid, because for one, the revelation about what is happening to the world, I've kind of heard about this before. See, let me explain. When I was getting into the, visual novels of Fate, okay, I was wanting to figure out, what path I should take with Fate, like, where should I start and all that, and I was trying to get into it, and eventually when I was, playing Heaven's Fill and stuff, it led me to finding out more about the Nasuverse, and a couple of Chibits were letting me know that apparently there's this other story to Fate, which is pretty much called Notes. Now, it's in the Nasuverse, and just seeing some of the dialogue that was in this episode, I've not personally seen Notes myself. I just know, like, a brief summary of it, what it's about. And looking at the way this is done and all that, okay? It looks like this verse, like where Miu is from, it's literally leading into that story of Notes. And I'm like, yo! It's really interesting and fascinating how the world's going to shit, the world is ending, and it makes me question exactly what is really going on here. Hopefully we get a little bit more details to the exact facts, but what's really going on, or what we kind of know at this moment, is that the world right now, all the mana is draining. And Illya brought up a very interesting conversation, like a combo. It was like, okay, so the mana is disappearing. Why should you care? I mean, only the mages are going to be the ones that are pissed off. The mages are the only ones that are going to be kind of upset because they can't use magic anymore. That's kind of the logical outcome. I mean, if you think about it, it's like, oh, you can't use magic anymore. So you're saying you want to kill a person because you just can't use magic anymore? Which there's probably things people kill less for, but still. So seeing the way that was displayed, we came to the conclusion that what Illya was saying, it kind of, makes sense. I mean, why would you want to kill off a girl just for mana? I mean, what Illya was saying was kind of factual. You're like, okay, so, I mean, that's how we would view the situation. I mean, you don't need to, sacrifice the girl to save the world, because the world's not really in danger. It's just, your magic disappearing. But then, we get the true reveal of what is really going on here. So, when magic disappears, okay? You have it to where these unidentified particles are popping up in the location to where there's dry areas where there is no mana anymore on this planet. And these dry areas with this unidentified particle, it kills anything that is there. It literally kills everything. All living beings die. Plants, animals, everything. People. Everybody dies in these areas. And we saw these parts, these dry spots in the episode with how the world is changing. And so this means that if the world continues to lose this mana, this unidentified particle will continue to spread that is literally toxic to the entirety of the living creatures on this planet. So everything will in fact die. It's not just that mana is disappearing and mages can't use magic anymore. It's more than that. That means that everything dies. Like, nothing will be able to come back from what is going on, because the planet is literally dying. Now, let's talk about what this necessarily means and what they're trying to accomplish. So, you have it to where it's brought up that the reason why they want to use the Holy Grail and to sacrifice Miu to get, have her die to save the world is because they want to use the remaining bits of the mana on the planet to make a hybrid of humanity, like beings that could literally survive this unidentified particle that is going up in these dry spots. So they pretty much, the main goal right now of the enemy is to change how humanity is, to evolve humanity to a point to where it can survive the outcome of the planet dying. And as I said, if you've ever actually looked into Notes, the story Notes and all that that's connected to the Nasuverse, then you kind of see the similarities here. It's very similar. I'm not going to say it's exactly similar, because as I said, I've only seen like a brief summary of Notes. I haven't actually read it completely, so I don't know the entirety of all the details, but some of the things we got in this episode was definitely similar to that. And I'm like, yo, this is very fascinating stuff, because as I've said in many reviews I've done on many different anime series and manga series, one of my favorite things is world building. And this world building is just so awesome, because you're like, holy shit. So it's not just now about, like, the world ending or maybe mana disappearing, but literally now they're wanting to evolve humanity to a point to where they can survive all this. And that's kind of fucked up now you think about it. And literally Illya now saving Miyu is destroying the entire world. Everybody is doomed to die. Illya is dooming everyone to die. All men, women, and children will die because of the outcome of the planet slowly becoming dried up. And now, getting off of that, let's talk about one other thing I didn't expect to see. I didn't expect to see a little bit of a magic or mage lesson in this episode about how, you know, humanity or humans make mana from their body, how they use it, and how the entire planet's a wellspring. I did not expect to see, like, a lesson on magecraft and stuff in this episode of Fate Kaleid, and I'm like, holy crap, this was really well done. I just didn't expect to see the way that was done, the way that was presented in this episode. So I gotta say, congrats Fate Kaleid for doing a very good job with, like, explaining, like, the wellspring of the planet with the mana and how you know, humanity changes, you know, the mana, how they use it and stuff. I just like that. I really like those details that we got in this episode, so I'm very happy with that regard. Now, another thing I do want to mention is that apparently, from what we found out, was that Kuritsugu, he didn't necessarily save Shiro from what we found out. We actually get some dialogue that he saved Illya. Now, it's kind of already been hinted at beforehand, before this episode, but we now know that you had to where Kuritsugu, his decision, when, you know, after the Holy Grail event in Fate Zero, and he saw how the entire city was burning, and eventually he saved Shiro. You remember how the events turned out in Fate Zero? Well, apparently that necessarily didn't happen. You had to where Kuritsugu actually took a different route and saved Illya. He actually went out of his way, he saved his family, he saved Illya, and then he ran off from the Holy Grail. He didn't even give a shit at all. So the events with the entire town burning never happened to begin with in Fate Kaleid. So you had to where it wasn't the exact similar outcome of how, you know, Shiro was adopted, how Shiro eventually became a part of Kuritsugu's family, how he became Emiya Shiro. That right now is a little bit different from how, you know, Fate Stay Night was done. So hopefully we get a little bit more details on exactly how that happened. But getting off of that, let's talk about another detail in this episode that was brought up, and I want to know more. I really want to fucking know more now. So, Kuro, as we know, literally has the Archer card installed. Kuro's pretty much fucking female Archer. That's the best way we could say it, or Illya Archer in cosplay. And Kuro was fighting pretty much Gilgamesh in this episode. A female Gilgamesh that doesn't have the attitude and arrogance that Gil normally has. And one of the biggest things about Gil as a character is if he was to cast aside his arrogance, he's a powerful character. His character would literally be unbeatable if he could throw away his arrogance. Because if he had no arrogance, this man could literally end any fight like nothing. Too fucking easy for him. So because of this, seeing this female Gilgamesh literally having no arrogance in fighting Kuro, which is the embodiment of Archer in a way, I'm like, yo, this is interesting because it's literally like a mock fight of what we see in Unlimited Blade Works, but on a lower downscaled version because Kuro at this time doesn't know really how to use Unlimited Blade Works. If you've seen, you know, Fate Stay Night Unlimited Blade Works, or if you read the visual novel, you kind of know what type of noble phantasm that, you know, Archer can do. And because of this, seeing how Shiro, supposedly, as we know, spoiler alert, just spoilers right here. I mean, you should already have watched Unlimited Blade Works if you're watching this, I'm just gonna be honest. But if for some case you haven't, just spoiler alert. As we know, Shiro, he can use Unlimited Blade Works, and we know he's imprisoned at this time. Did that necessarily mean when she said, you're not using the Archer card properly, and I was really worried about this card, this is the card I was worried the most about? When she said that, we kind of know why. Why someone that has Gilgamesh's card would be worried about the Archer card, which is Archer from Fate Stay Night, is because literally these two, you know, characters, they're very similar in a way, the way they use their abilities, and they're literally war incarnate. They can fight each other and continuously send out blades. We've seen this in Fate Stay Night Unlimited Blade Works. And because of this, Kuro hasn't been using the ability properly. She most likely doesn't know how to use the ability. And just seeing how the female Gilgamesh brought this up, you're like, holy shit. That means that Shiro, that is currently locked up right now and literally imprisoned in the dungeons, that means he must have put up a crazy-ass fight. Like, this man probably put up a crazy fight. Because I just know that she was worried of the Archer card, okay? And now, seeing Kuro can't really do much, and we know how the Archer card should kind of be used, I can't imagine what Shiro is doing. I can't even imagine the level of his strength right now compared to his counterpart in Fate Stay Night Unlimited Blade Works. I can't even imagine how strong he is. And just to see how he was able to do something like that and fight someone at Gilgamesh's level using his abilities and stuff, holy shit. Hopefully they show that. I would love to see what type of, you know, level of power this Shiro is in this verse compared to, let's say, Fate Stay Night. I really am curious about that. So overall, that's my thoughts on this episode. It's a very, very good episode. Can't wait to see what's going to happen next, to see where it's going to go. Let me know your thoughts. Do you feel like Illya can, save the planet and save Miyu? Do you think that's going to happen? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. You all have a wonderful day or night wherever you live. Please be safe. Chibi out.